Good morning, YouTube, brothers and sisters, Facebook friends. This is my 20th attempt at making a video. I've not done it before. I want to wake people up to what's going on. It's been going on our whole lives. It's been going on for generations, and we've bought in. We've all bought in to the system. The system is there to keep you in a box. It's there to keep you busy. It's there so that they can have control over you. The big push toward electricity, telephones, conveniences. They had to convince our grandparents to have electricity and to use telephones. They had to convince them to stop being independent so that they could be dependent on the system. They didn't, Our grandparents were not convinced. They didn't really trust their system. And they were smart to not trust the system. This is what the system has done. It has changed it so that instead of growing food in your own garden and knowing that it's good food and having that food stored in your cupboards through the winter and having your wood stove so that you can always keep your house warm at reasonable costs here. They've now got you buying electricity to keep your house warm, relying on their system, buying your food from the grocery stores, paying high prices, not knowing what they're doing to the food, and they are doing to the food bad things. They're tracking you now with the cell phones. We've gone from a situation where humans were independent to humans are completely reliant on a system. So we have all bought into the system. You're now working your butt off for money that they take from you as soon as you get it. You owe, you borrow, you pay taxes, you pay interest, you pay fees. You on everything you do. You buy stuff that is not good quality. They want it to break, so you'll have to replace it. And then it's garbage. And our landfills are filling with garbage, and there's plastic everywhere. And it's bad for the earth. The whole system is bad. The whole system is about controlling you with money. You need to make more money so that you can have this or that. You want to impress your neighbor. You want to impress your friends or your family. It's all about vanity. It's all about, and they've changed it now. It's not like, it's not like somebody in your country is getting a job and making the clothes that you're going to buy because they're so cute. It's not that way anymore. They've transferred the jobs from here overseas so that they could pay people slave wages in order to produce these items that you're so interested in buying. So they've tricked you now because it's a bad thing to buy these. You're supporting slavery of children in order to have your stuff. Yeah, that's terrible. That's not good, and you shouldn't be looking to buy these things. They are putting so much bad stuff in the movies and in the music. They're now doing satanic rituals right in front of your face in the music awards, the music performances. And you're not allowed to talk about God. That's against the law. I mean, it's not against the law yet, but I'm sure it will be. But I notice that you're not allowed. I can't talk to anyone about Jesus. I can't even hear what their opinion is. They don't want to talk about it. Don't want to share their opinions. Why? Why wouldn't you want to do that? They don't want you. Society has trained you to, that's the rule. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about what's going on around you. Shh. Shh. Just keep on going to work. Keep on buying your things. Go on your vacations. Go play your sports. Keep being distracted. don't talk about what's going on. Your child's future relies on what's going on, right? The George Bush Jr. has completed his daddy's agenda, which is not necessarily his daddy's agenda. It's the agenda of the devil, and it's the agenda of the old families that have had control, that have had the motivation to get you relying on a system so that they could control you and use you as slaves. Everything that you do is supporting them. You're focusing on their evil movies, their evil music, their evil TV shows. Like, it's not all completely evil. It's bad though. Oh my goodness, you guys. I haven't been watching TV for a while now, and I can't stomach it. It makes me sick to my stomach. I haven't been spoon-fed all these years. I've been looking at the news. I've been paying attention to what's going on with the environment. Some big things been going on in the environment, you guys. And in the last few years, it's gotten like very, very active with volcanoes and earthquakes and ice tsunamis. And then tsunamis. How long did we live our lives without seeing any tsunami or any video footage of tsunami? And now we have multiple, like, tons of footage of these things. They're spraying chemicals in the air. They're genetically modifying and putting growth hormones in. They're putting animals in cages. Little cages. They can't even move. And this is what you get your meat from. It's evil, you guys. How would you like to be stuck in a little cage? I mean, that's what they intend to do to you. I'm sorry, but they do. They're not setting up a life for people that is good. I've been trying my whole life to figure out how can it work. Like, I know money is not the answer. That's BS. Like, paper? We can't get these people food because we don't have enough paper? Like, please. Come on now, you guys. Don't be fooled any longer. Look around. The signs are there. George Bush, 2000. Recount the votes 3 times in the state of Florida where his brother Jeb Bush is governor. Al Gore loses the presidential election and starts on his campaign for global warming. It's your fault. It's your fault global warming is happening. But the corporations are allowed to continue polluting, you know, and expanding their pollution. But you need to be concerned about global warming. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Why did they want George Bush in the presidency? So that when their September 11th World Trade Center bombings, I mean planes crashing in via barely trained pilots, like, that was an excuse. The war on terror now. Oh, we have the war on terror. Okay, so they had the excuse to go into Iraq and bomb all of the citizens there to get Saddam Hussein about weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist when they had been funding him the years prior. And war in Afghanistan. Okay, so they've got control of Saddam's government and oil, and then they've got control of, they got drugs over there in Afghanistan? Yeah. Okay, there's the motivation. Is that good? No. We just, so many troops went over there and fought for this and died and were injured and are now mentally stressed. They come back here and they get no support. They get no help. They're actually now being called mentally unstable, and it's terrible. It's terrible what they've done. They made the U.S. bankrupt because they needed control. They don't want. They don't need so many slaves, guys. We're just slaves to them. Why do you think that there's such a big gap between the rich and the poor? Because they only need so many people to be their slaves. They're going to get rid of the rest of us. Stephen Harper and Obama are taking away our rights. They want to build more prisons. Okay? It's a tyranny going on here, you guys. It's a tyranny. And it all lines up with Revelations. This is the end. This is the end of this terrible world. That is fantastic. You guys, that's great news. Okay? If you're a good person, you need to sign on with Jesus. Jesus is the only entity other than aliens, and I strongly suggest that you don't go with any aliens, okay? Jesus was sent here from God to spread the good word, which makes perfect sense. I've looked in the New Testament, of course, now that I've looked everywhere else at all the evil. I had to start studying the Bible to find out what it has to say, and what it has to say is what's going on in this world now is the end. We were born into this system as good and bad. You know, we're all good and bad. That's why man cannot rule over man. Because you'll always be tempted and get greedy. We're not acceptable to God in this form as having good and bad. If you look at the definitions of the word man in the Bible, you'll see they're different. There are different types of men. And to be a man in the flesh is to be against God, because God is not fleshy. God, the things in this world that people find valuable, it's kind of junk. It's just junk. It just dies. It just gets wrecked. It just disappears. It gets rusty. It dissipates. It's gone. It disintegrates over years. There's nothing valuable about it. Your eternal life is what is valuable. As long as you're here in this flesh, you are not acceptable to God. I'm pretty sure our DNA was tampered with at the beginning, which is what makes us unacceptable to God. And that evidence is there in Genesis 2 and 4th. And so if you're loving the system, if you're ignoring what the system is doing to other people around you, then you're taking the mark of the beast. If you're realizing that the system is wrong, that something needs to change, and that things are only getting worse, Jesus the Christ came down here to live in the flesh as a man, having the curse of both good and evil. He resisted the evil, which made him a perfect sacrifice. And then he was crucified, having no sin, which made him the perfect sacrifice for our sins. He rose up to God again. And that was intended to save us, so that those who chose to switch over. Right now the devil owns you. You are of the devil. Okay? You have a chance now to feed your good side. This world is evil. This world feeds your evil side. Jesus feeds your good side. If you love good things, if you love people, then you need to bring people to Jesus, because Jesus came here and bought us with his life. Now, they've given us an amount of time to come together and accept this knowledge, to give us time to perfect ourselves. We've been given that time, but that time is coming to an end. That time is coming to an end now. The evil is getting bigger, and Jesus is going to return soon, because the evil is getting so bad that it makes me sick. The signs are there, you guys. It's going on in the environment. It's going on. The signs are in the stars. I'm running out of time. There's not enough time.